Boy, let me tell you something. I know people say, oh, we can't, we're tired of COVID, but it's here.
Yep.
We have to talk about it. We have to deal with it. And one of the things we have to deal with is the big bill that comes with it. The Minister of Finance and Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says it's the most significant economic challenge in the nation's history. He's saying it's a double blow. The COVID bill is 120 billion and loss in revenues are projected at 81 billion.
Yeah, the great lockdown of 2020, as the IMF has called it, has exceeded the Great Recession of 2008-2009 in scale and scope and will lead to the worst economic recession since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Yeah, that's what the minister told the House yesterday. So, yeah, it's... And again, we're having a conversation about this yesterday, myself and some friends, and we're still yet to get to the hurricane season. Because
no, we're not get to it.
We will get there.
No, I'm doing.
I'm saying it's it's on the calendar,
So
right? So we think about all that and all that is happening now with COVID-19, and you're saying, man, things really look bleak.
Let me tell you something. Remember the Great Recession, 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
We just get over it last year, 2019. And we had to burn with belly in Jamaica in some serious ways to get over it. Took us a decade, and this is worse.
Yeah. But what Dr. Clark had said to the House, though, that Jamaica has options that other countries do not have, and the government has been exercising those options, inclusion of the deployment of 70 billion in cash resources on hand. However, he said that with that, a growth income of minus 5.1% with a reduced primary balance of 3.5% will mean that debt to GDP, that's the gross domestic product ratio, is estimated to rise to just under 98% by March next year. So you know that we were coming from over 100%, and we kept coming down over the past 3-4 years. So now for it to go back up, it's
one giant leap, too.
Yeah.
So let me telling you something. Jamaican people, we have to start get yourself knowledgeable on these things. One of the things that we spend too much money on is import of food. For a country where have so much land and so much resources, we spend too much money on importing food. We have to go cut that bill there. The bill there have to go cut.
Yeah. And
so we have to start support farmers. If you can do your own little farming, grow something in your backyard, but we're going to cut the food bill.
Yeah, but another important point, opposition spokesman on finance Mark Golin agreed that he did not think Jamaica has faced anything as shocking as this crisis. And he says, and I quote, "It has hit us in so many ways, and I think that all Jamaicans want to see their leaders pulling together and cooperating."
Absolutely.
So all leaders, all sectors, everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's going to require a team effort.
No, it's not the time.
Yeah.
For divisiveness, no, it's not the time. For polarity, no, it's not the time. Yes, make it feel so we can look good.
It's not the time,
yes,
man.
No. And let me tell you something. And that's why governments around the world are struggling with opening their economy, because they have to quickly respond or it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
They have to quickly respond or it's going to get worse. Tourism, I don't think tourism anywhere in the world has ever gotten a blow like this.
Nothing, no industry.
Europe is struggling to reopen right now. And people say we have to find a way. We don't know how, but we have to find a way to do it.
And we have to find a way to do it together.
Good.
Yeah.
So solutions we look for going forward. Me no want hear nobody come up with creating no problems.
Yeah.
Enough problems have been created by COVID. You don't create no more. Just solutions I want to hear about how we're going to get out of this and get out of it quickly. Because we don't have another 10 years to bounce back from this.
All right, so the SLB, that's the Students' Loan Bureau, is one of the major casualties of the new look budget this fiscal year, as the government has proposed to cut nearly $3 billion it was allocated to provide loans for students attending tertiary institutions.
Have mercy.
Yeah. Dr. Nigel Clark, again, in tabling the first supplementary estimates for the 2020-2021 fiscal year, noted that the COVID-19 pandemic is having a devastating economic impact on the world economy. He said despite the cut in the allocation to the SLB, the entity will still be in a position to fulfill its mandate this fiscal year.
Yes, he says they have $8 billion in investments. And that can be utilized to provide student loans for all applicants. What I don't know is if the number of persons who will have to apply will not grow exponentially come September, because parents have been laid off and salaries have been cut and things like that.
Yeah, and then the matriculation for those who are leaving high school.
Yeah.
I don't know those who have to do school leaving exams. I'm not sure how that all works.
But we have to work it out. So student loan, you have $8 billion in investments. You have to pull on some of that now, and so you can help the students. He says National Water Commission, Urban Development Corporation, Port Security Corps, the Bureau of Standards have been earmarked for $3 billion in new expenditure, because they've been severely impacted by the crisis. The NWC, for example, has experienced a large revenue decline. Boy, I don't know.
Yeah, remember.
I said it last week, and I'll say it again. The neighbor to NWC not experiencing no decline in revenue. And so maybe NWC need to apply that kind of collection process.
Yeah, and though we mentioned earlier the debt to GDP ratio, the target of 60% will not be met by 2025-26. He said, however, that they will revise the target 2027 to 2028. So
look here.
This thing is different, man. This thing is different.
Dwayne talk about hurricane, same thing. Hurricane come, we know what we're doing in Jamaica. We button down, and when hurricane gone, we mash up, we take our time, fix it up, and we bounce back stronger. So we're going a little season here now, which means we can't act like we're crazy and ignore the reality. We have to just button down, and so we can fix it.
In all sense, we have to button down.
Yeah, in all sense.
All right.
This one, the quarantine triggers fear in pregnant St. Mary women. Oh my, ladies, please don't worry. Don't put yourself into any distress. 3 St. Mary communities are on the 14-day quarantine, and the expectant mothers are already worried about the virus being spread in the area. 13 persons from the 3 areas are tested positive, and the affected persons were said to be moving about, increasing the risk of exposure to others in the communities. There's one Nottamy resident who is in advanced stage of pregnancy. She's dreading the time when she'll be ready to deliver. There's no indication, of course, to suggest that pregnant women are at a greater risk of contracting COVID-19. What I will say is Ministry of Health, they have good reason to be concerned given recent developments. Yeah. So I think, if someone can reach out to them, if someone can put out a statement, I don't know if one was already done, that outlines the process for treating pregnant women during COVID-19. That would help.
And that should go to those on the ground as well who are monitoring the quarantine, the lockdown. Because a lot of times people talk about the servicemen and servicewomen that they don't know exactly how to handle certain situations. So if the Ministry of Health can get to these quarantine areas in person, because
and let them know, and let the women know, so that if I go into labor, I know that this is what is supposed to happen. So if somebody is doing something different, I say no, and a sup.
Ministry say,
and a sup. Yeah. Minister tough than say, and you have a voice and you're able to protect yourself.
Agreed.
So ministry, see if we can send out something.
All right, and this one, postal service to help deliver tablets for teachers.
Amen, hallelujah. Yes. The teacher, them are going to get them tablet, and we're not talking about caffeinol.
CEO of e-learning Jamaica Limited, Keith Smith, says that the company has reached an agreement with Postal Service Jamaica Post for the distribution of some 25,000 tablet computers to the nation's teachers. Yeah. He says, and I quote, "In partnership with the Postal Service, we will do central distribution to the principals of the schools, who will then distribute to their teachers," he told JIS News. So
100 had already been distributed. St. Michael's in Kingston, Irwin in St. James, Clarkstown, Trelawney, Mandeville Primary School, and that the 25,000 is being supplied to represent the number of persons who qualified for the program as a registered teacher in May 2018 when the agreement was signed. He says he's also working alongside the JTA, the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, and Finance and the Public Service to ensure the smooth delivery of the tablets. They were sourced from Royal Computers. They're 25,000 Samsung branded tablets And Productive Business Solutions will be providing 15,000. Royal Computers supplied 10. They're for the teacher's personal use and should be used for curriculum support when necessary. Let me repeat that. It's for the teacher's personal use and may be used for curriculum support when necessary.
Yeah, I see JTA here. I'm sure Sir Speed is happy about this development.
Yes.
And I'm really happy to see this. It's really helping in a
I'm wondering how they
select.
Yeah, because I'm hoping that the teachers who are having the problem with the online learning are the first ones. So they may have had a distribution schedule before, but given what's happened with COVID, I'm hoping that it would have been the teachers who don't have access and have fallen behind in online teaching that would have gotten the priority in terms of who gets it.
Yeah, and well, at least I hope, as I said, they're involved with the JT and the Ministry of Education. Again, we all have to sit in the same, well, not really sit in the same room physically, but we have to be in the same room.
Be at the same table?
At the same table, having these discussions so we know that we're moving forward together and not one person steps and then we step afterwards.
Right. On the front page of the Gleaner, it says tourists may need COVID passport. Yeah. Airline and cruise ship visitors to Jamaica may be required to present medical certificates of a negative COVID-19 test in order to enter the island when the country reopens its borders for tourism. The medical certificate, which should be no older than 76 hours, is among a number of proposed protocols now on the table for implementation. All airline passengers departing Jamaica should also be tested prior to boarding and their temperature checked by thermal scanners.
Okay.
If their temperatures are above normal, they will be denied boarding.